Shout out to the baby mama Terry's Bounty Hunters. I'm your host, Mr. Palmer. And what we're going to talk about is a case that happened back in 2020 where a boyfriend, simp enforcer, stuffed a baby in a backpack, took it to work, put it in the trunk, tied it up, left the baby in the car for hours. I believe it was 5 or 6 hours, and the baby passed away. And yes, it is old, but it need to be talked about because this did not reach the nation. This was in a certain part of Texas. When I tell you these baby mama terrors do not love their children, I mean it. But I get it. I get it. Who hurt you? Your mama black and everything else. Come along with it. And like I said, this dude stuffed this baby in a backpack and left it in the car for hours while he went to work. So I'm gonna read this, and then we're gonna talk about the actual father in this case. And unfortunately, this situation happened all the time where the simp enforcer is more around the child than the biological father. And most of the times because he's not allowed, he's alienated. He only good for every other weekend. Government daddy allow it, and the baby mama tear is taking it wrong with it. So I'm gonna read this as we go along. And yes, I'll be doing more pre-recording because everything cannot be 2 or 3 hour live. So shout out to the baby mama Terry's Bounty Hunters. Baby stuff in backpack, left in the car for hours, dies. This was posted January 8th, 2020. And this was in Lubbock, Texas. A Lubbock man was charged with capital murder on Wednesday morning for the death of a baby who he allegedly stuffed into a backpack, then left in the car for hours before she died. An arrest warrant said 27-year-old Trevor Rowe of Lubbock killed Marion Jester Montoya, less than a year old, by confining her in a backpack inside a vehicle for an extended period. The warrant said Rowe is not the father of the child, but was dating the mother. The warrant said Rowe, oh, I said already, but I'm gonna say it again. The warrant said Rowe is not the father of the child, but was dating her mother. Now, how long they was dating, I don't know. But they lived together, of course. The warrant said he took Marion to a job site at 130th and Upland Avenue and then left her in a backpack on the floorboard of a car. At some point, he discovered that she got out of the backpack and he put her back in. By lunchtime, he checked on her and found she was lightly crying but breathing. Authorities said then he went to a fast food drive-thru and 2 other stores. Mind you, she's still in the bag, still packed up. You can't make this up. After lunch, the warrant said he placed the backpack into the trunk of the car with Marion inside. Just before 5 p.m., he checked on her and she was not breathing. He called 911 and began CPR. He knew that placing a person into a trunk was dangerous to human life, the warrant said. Rowe advised that placing someone into a backpack was even more dangerous. Rowe was held Wednesday on a $2 million bond. This is him right here. When I tell you these baby mama terrorists do not love their children, they do not love their children. They will allow married dudes go over to the house. They will allow dudes that they met off Twitter, Tinder, plenty of fish, adult friend find, everything else around their children. And once he hit, he can go over and stay over there, and he can be a father figure, even though he's not there to be a father. He's there getting that free ride off your government handouts that you're getting, or the child support, or whatever you're getting, and reap the benefits off you. This him. This him. Is that it? Make sure that's it. Okay. Yeah, that's it. But I want you, the guys, to realize that these baby mama terrorists choose single motherism. These baby mama terrorists will let any man outside of biological father be around them, watch them, keep it for weeks while you go out and do whatever you do or don't do. I don't care if you're going to work or anything. How do y'all feel so comfortable to have a dude, a boyfriend, to be a daddy to a child he don't give a shit about? But the father that want to be a father, he's not allowed because you still mad at him. You still got issues with him. You hurt over him. But then when he say he washed his hands, move on, anything happen that falls on you, then you want to blame him anyway because he didn't fight hard enough. Okay, but I want to show y'all something else. I'm gonna play this video right quick, and I'm gonna read what the father, the biological father, and what the news said about this situation. And this happened all the time. So when a lot of these baby mama terrorists, these simple forces, these baby boomers, and the rest of society say, well, why you didn't fight? Why you didn't do this? Here's why. Check this video out. And not only that, while we wait on this, he actually tried to be released from jail because of COVID. Ain't that something? Yeah, that's it. But I want y'all to see it. But he tried to get out and try to use COVID-19, but they wasn't going. They weren't allowing it, so it didn't work out. But I'm not gonna read all that. But this her innocent, and I told you these baby mama terrorists take children's innocence, put them in bad situations, bad predicaments, having any type of guy around, put them in harm's way, use them as pawns, weapons, shields, and so on. This cute innocent baby was stuffed in a backpack by the boyfriend. Let me scroll back down to what I want y'all to see. They talking about this COVID mess. We ain't, I don't care about that. This I want to talk about. A brutal crime. And men, this is why I tell y'all, if you can fight, you fight to the very end if you can. But a lot of times this government system will finalize it and set you for failure. And like I said, if you get to the point where it's gonna harm you and kill you and make you do something that gonna destroy you and others, it ain't worth it. Wash your hands and move on. But I'm gonna read this. A brutal crime. Lubbock police officials said officers were called shortly before 5 p.m. January the 7th. The call to a call of a child who wasn't breathing. Paramedics took the girl to the University Medical Center where she was pronounced dead. The preliminary investigation into Jester Montoya's death revealed disturbing details of how she died. According to police and the court's documents obtained by multiple media outlets, including the Associated Press, The police officials said in a news release that Rowe picked Jester Montoya up from her mother at the home they shared and took her to work with him. So he picked up the baby at home. The mother gave the baby to him, and he took her to work. So that makes me wonder. You gave your baby, you at home, and you give your baby to him, and he's going to work. And if that's the case, then don't you think that she should be charged with some type of neglect, child endangerment? That don't sound right. But let's continue. I'm gonna read it again. Police officials said in a news release that Rowe picked Jester Montoya up from her mother at the home they shared, of course, and took her to work with him. According to the affidavit, he crammed the girl into a backpack and left her on the front passenger floorboard of his car, checking on her periodically through the morning. After his lunch break, Rowe moved the child through the backseat pass through to the trunk, the news release said. Several hours later, Rowe checked on the child and found that she was not breathing. Rowe called 911 and drove to a rural intersection where he began CPR and waited for paramedics, authorities said. The arrest affidavit said when Rowe checked on Jester Montoya during the morning, he found that she had wiggled her way out of the backpack. He returned her to the bag, zipped it up, and went back to work continually to check on her occasionally. During his lunch break, Rowe found the girl crying, but said she was breathing, according to the AP. CBS 7 in Odessa, that's Odessa, Texas, which also obtained the arrest warrant, reported that Rowe got fast food for lunch. So I bet he fed himself, but did not feed her. I guarantee it, because she stuffed in the bag. He didn't give a damn about her. After he ate, he placed the backpack in the trunk with the girl still zipped inside. How can she breathe with the backpack zipped, sir? So basically, you use her as a Ziploc bag. He left her there for more than 5 hours. 5 hours. When he finished work at 5 o'clock and returned to the car, Jester Montoya was no longer breathing, investigators said. Now check this out. Rowe, who is not the girl's father, was arrested in her death after he admitted stuffing her into the backpack and leaving her in the car all day, the news station reported. Now we finna talk about the father. Because of course, a lot of y'all will sit back and say, well, where the father? What about the father? It's the father's fault. He didn't fight. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. He abandoned her. Now, they show the father face, show the baby face, show this simple force of face, but don't show the mother's face. You know, Mother Earth. Most likely, she 9 times out of 10, she's a Al Senorita, baby mama terrorist. They ain't showing her. They ain't mention her name. Because right now she probably got to go for me and she being victim and woe is me and I didn't know no better. I didn't know this and all that. No accountability ever had to be said amongst them. But I'm going to read this. Jester Montoya's father, Emilio Montoya, and his family told CBS 7 that she was a sweet and active baby who was just learning to walk. In an interview with Fox 34 and Lubbock, the family said the baby had been at the center of a custody dispute for months. So this dude been fighting for custody or equal custody. I'm not sure, but he been fighting. But y'all sit back and say fathers don't fight because y'all don't look it up. Y'all don't bother to look it up. Y'all don't give a damn. That's just an excuse to keep these baby mama to have custody. Government daddy. They say they believe if Montoya having granted custody, Justin Montoya will still be alive. I guarantee that would be true. But who they give custody to? I was just talking about this last night on a brother's show. Tell them that 1.4 million mothers by themselves abuse and neglect their children. And when it comes to them and the boyfriend or a spouse, it's 222,000. But who they give custody to? These baby mama terrorist mothers. Montoya said the Texas Department of Child Protective Services had been called 3 times over concerns about the situation in the home Rowe shared with Jester Montoya, his own children, and Jester Montoya's mother. So they got kids together. Montoya made 2 of the calls himself, the news station reported. So the father called CPS 2 times. So what was CPS doing? The first call to CPS was placed after Montoya took his daughter to the emergency room because she would not stop crying, he told Fox 34. Test came back positive for methamphetamines. Wow. So the baby came back positive with methamphetamines, and the mother still had custody? A baby come back positive with that. Can I make this shit up? But this is the father right here, loving his daughter. Here go the second call. A second call was placed by another person. Another person. They ain't saying who. Concerned over the conditions at the home. Trevor Rowe's house is filthy, messy. There's poop everywhere. His kids are filthy and literally rolled in dog poop in his house, Montoya told Fox 34. Montoya made a third call to CPS after Jester Montoya developed a bleeding rash down her leg. The grieving father said he just saw the dangerous path his daughter was being forced upon. This is getting progressively worse, and I'm going to get a call one day and that something bad is going to happen. And I don't want that call. Montoya told the news station. Something needs to be done now. That call came the evening of January 7th, the Montoya family said. Wow. Wow. And that's how a lot of y'all men as fathers feel when it comes to your children. But unfortunately, a lot of these children are manipulated. And when they get grown, especially the boys, they realize that their mother's a baby mama. Some will never realize it. And the reason why they realize it because either they see the light because they going through it, or finally they finally see it for what it is. These baby mama do not love their children. Texas is a piece of shit when it comes to family court too. I blame CPS. I blame family courts. And of course, I blame the baby mama terrorists for all this. CPS 7 reported that court record shows Justin Montoya's death is not the first time Rowe has been accused of mistreating children. He was arrested in 2018 and charged with endangering the welfare of a child after police said he left 2 of his children unattended in his home. Rowe told police he used a bicycle to go for food while children were asleep. He said he was gone for 30 minutes. Court records indicate officers called CPS, but no caseworkers were located to respond to the home, CBS 7 reported. The news station said the charges against Rowe were later dropped. Ain't that something? It was dropped. That's it. Trevor Rowe, 27 years old, a Lubbock, is charged with capital murder in the death of 10-month-old Marion Rebecca Jester Montoya, who police allege was stuffed into a backpack and left in a car trunk for more than 5 hours while Rowe went about his workday. All I gotta say is this is one of the reasons why I do what I do. A lot of y'all didn't know nothing about this. I didn't either. Somebody sent it to me, and I said, "I need to talk about this." This has been going on for a long time and continue to go on because society teach you that fathers don't want to be fathers, and these simple forces come to these bitches' defense, which that's not the case. They just getting to come up, sex good, and they just had a child a while around because they want to be with her or get whatever off her or whatever. They do not love these children, these feminists, these Al Keishas, Al Quishas, Al Walla Melnishas, these Al Senoritas, these Al Zanes, and everybody else. They do not love these children. And not one time did they post a picture of the mother. Not one time they mention the mother's name, age, her reaction, anything. And she will not be charged with no type of child endangerment, giving the baby to him while he go to work and she's at home. Why she couldn't watch him? And this dumb bastard actually thought that she was gonna live, and you got her stuffed in a book bag with it zipped up, and leave it in the car all day long, and you ain't feed her either. You cannot make this shit up. So I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Get back on my couch. Like, share, tell me your thoughts. Tell me what your thoughts about this situation. You know, they say men don't fight, men ain't trying to be fathers. It's their fault, and so on. You tell me what you think about this and why you think they did not put the mother out there, her name, her age, anything. Why she's not being charged as well. Well, Mr. Palmer, and this conversation is over. Fuck child support. Peace.